Hey guys, Mario here with another workout video, and in this one you're gonna see me do a lower body deload workout. And this is the final day of my deload week that I'm proud to finish off. I left the ego out of the gym, lifting the weight, focusing on technique, working on that deload to get that fatigue down so I can work on the next block of training, which will be focused on strength, on the intensity work. So I've talked a little bit about deloads before. I mean, to kind of summarize the key points, essentially you let the level of fatigue dissipate by doing less volume, keeping the intensity relatively the same as before, which allows you to, as I said, drop that fatigue level so you can kind of express the strength in the upcoming weeks. And this is called the dual factor model. As you're training, you're gaining, your level of fitness is increasing, you're gaining strength, you're becoming more proficient with your lifts, and at the same time your fatigue is going up. So the fatigue at a certain point will mask the level of fitness that you have. It's gonna mask the progress that you made, and thus you need to let that fatigue drop down, and fatigue drops down faster than your level of fitness, and that allows us to kind of deload and show, okay, this is the progress that I made so far. And the way to properly do a deload is simply to reduce volume. So you're not reducing intensity, you're reducing just volume. But let's say if you're doing 5 times 5, you'd maybe do 3 times 5. If you're doing 3 times 5, maybe you do 2 times 5. You know, it's simply like taking a little bit of sets, like cut off a little bit of the sets. So deloads was a topic of a video that I just did recently as well. I'm gonna put that in the description below so you guys can check that out. Goes in depth of how I do deloads. On this specific video, I want to talk a little bit about higher rep versus low rep training, and kind of that bodybuilding style of training as well, like moderate reps, and how to incorporate all of this, because I've been getting a lot of questions on it, and a lot of guys are wondering, hey, how do you plan your workouts? I mean, people are reading different kinds of articles saying, hey, you need to do a high rep training, you need to do low rep training, you need to do this, that, and just some of the pros and cons of both and how to practically apply this. So if you look at all the research, I mean, it's clear that to get strong, you need to lift heavy weights, right? You need to get accustomed to lifting heavy weights. And this is coming back at those neurological adaptations, right? And other factors that play a role in strength are simply the amount of muscle mass you have. So the more muscle mass you have, the more that you have potential of lifting heavy, because that muscle mass can use to produce more force. And then the third factor would be simply that skill with a certain lift, right? If you want to learn how to squat, if you want to squat heavy, you need to squat heavy. You know, there's no way around that. But when you look at muscle growth, and guys who are primarily interested in physique goals, same like as me, I'm primarily interested in physique and in bodybuilding, the specificity factor is not as important. We can build muscle with a variety of lifts, and actually that's encouraged to have a variety of lifts. I mean, they look at the studies, the group that did just squats and the group that did squats and the leg extensions built more muscle, right? So there's a certain variety that does help when you're trying to build muscle. And the key also for building muscle is that it doesn't really matter which repetition range you're using, as long as it's heavy enough, right? For strength, it's clear that you need to lift heavy in order to get strong. So this interesting study that was done on this was comparing a group that did all of their weekly volume with 3 repetition maxes versus a group that did all their volume with 10 rep maxes. So in the end, what happened is that both of the groups experienced the same amount of muscle growth, and the group that did 3 rep maxes gain more strength, which kind of confirms what I've just told you, is simply that you need to lift heavy in order for your body to learn how to lift heavy. And the question now is like, why wouldn't you simply lift heavy all the time? Like, why would you even incorporate those moderate reps if there's no point? Like, if you can simply grow by lifting heavy all the time? Well, most people might come to that conclusion, but if you look at the study, the group that did their 3 sets of 10, you know, that did their volume in like sets of 10, was not as fatigued, and they could have done a lot more, and their workouts lasted just a little bit of time compared to the group that did their training in 3 repetition maxes, and they experienced a lot of dropouts, they got injured, they were fatigued, they were quite beat up, and their workouts, as I said, last a lot longer. So it wasn't really practical from that standpoint to do all of your work in that 3 rep max range. And another point is that you can't really apply only heavy work if you're interested in bodybuilding. I mean, how the hell are you gonna do like cable curls with your 3 rep max? You know, it doesn't really make sense. That specific exercise doesn't allow this type of work to be performed with proper form, and that's really an important factor as well when you consider what is necessary for hypertrophy. But again, it is coming down to combination of different kinds of repetition ranges. So what is that kind of intensity level? You know, what is, how heavy do you need to go? And a good sweet spot that most people will fall into with their training is that 6 to 12 rep range, which is the rep range that, if you look at all the research, I mean, it's very easy to accumulate volume, to build muscle, also build strength at the same time, and kind of manage that fatigue when it comes to joints and connective tissue as well. So going further, what is it with those 15 plus reps? Should we include those? Well, there is some research indicating that those might be beneficial for a specific fiber type development. In bodybuilding, I would definitely include a little bit of work in that 15 repetition range, but not as much, because I mean, it's not as many effective reps. You know, the concept of effective reps is very important here, is that if you go high rep training, if you go 15 plus reps, you need to train to failure or extremely near to failure to reach a point where those reps will be effective. So if I pick up a weight that is my 20 rep max, the first 10 reps don't do anything. These reps would not be called effective reps. That's a very interesting concept there, is that with heavy loads, with that 6 to 8 kind of rep range, or like 6 to 10, a lot of those reps are effective reps, which are the reps that are going to make you grow, and that's going to stimulate an adaptation of muscle growth. While if you look at the 15 rep, or like, let's say 12 plus, kind of that range, the first few reps aren't going to contribute to a lot of that volume, right? There's not going to be much growth there. So that's kind of what you need to look for. And a good rule of thumb would be to simply, if you're interested in physique goal, to perform about 2/3 of your volume in that 6 to 12 kind of repetition range, and obviously include some heavy work, because progressing with your strength is very, very important when it comes to overall getting progress in terms of your physique, as lifting more heavy weights, you know, it translates to you lifting more with even those higher repetition ranges, right? So if you progress your 3 rep max and your 5 rep max, that's giving you a good indication that you're overall on a good path. You know, you're going in a good direction, because you are progressing. And that is a key there, that with those low repetitions, you can test yourself easily if you're on the right track and how your program is progressing. And that's why a majority of bodybuilders will still include some of that work. And again, a lot of you guys will be also interested in getting stronger, so why not just simply include some of that strength work as well. So as I said, 2/3 of your work should be performed in that 6 to 12 rep range. You can include a lot more like the other stuff in that 1/3 that is left. Typically, the way I organize workouts for myself currently, they're an upper lower split, where I'm going to go heavy on 2 days, and then I'm going to go that moderate repetition range on the other 2. It works fine. I'm able to progress, and as long as something is working, my philosophy is don't change it, don't change the winning formula. I mean, a lot of guys suffer from this fuck arounditis, as is often referred to. You know, they try to tinker with a working system, and that's something you don't want to do. Like, if you find that the workout plan, you're progressing, you're doing an adequate amount of volume that allows you to grow, there's really no need to change anything until it stops working. That's the big idea here, is that as long as you're progressing, it doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't matter if you're adding weight to the bar, if you're doing proper form, if you're moving forward. it's all that really is important, right? You're gonna grow eventually regardless if you just simply progress. You know, progressive overload is again the key component we're all coming back to. Even if you have a horrible workout plan, if you're simply progressing with it, I mean, that's awesome, because it has more room for improvements as you add some of this other stuff. And this workout is coming to an end. You see me here do some leg extensions. So this was a fairly easy workout. Took it nice and easy. Gonna end this deload with this workout, and I'm gonna go into a new workout cycle, which I'm gonna focus on that intensity phase, I believe, and that is gonna hopefully result in some new PRs. And this is my favorite workout exercise here, that you see, that this single-legged hip thrust. This is the workout that your girlfriends will love you for, and also those cable pull-throughs, pretty good for these kind of skills. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments below your questions so we can cover those in the upcoming videos. As always, make sure to click that subscribe button to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.